What is the worst class in Wizard101? Okay, let's start off by saying the astral class like Sun, Moon, and Star, they don't count. It's only starting classes. We're definitely gonna get rid of Storm because it's probably one of the best. It's rateable with Fire because it's high damage despite its health. You can probably solve the whole game just like I did. Fire, as I said, it's probably the second or first best in the game. It's damage over time. Its overall damage is just OP. We're also gonna get rid of Death. Death is just the healing. The damage is alright. The healing is what makes it OP. Without the healing, who knows how OP it would have been. We're also going to get rid of Myth because its summoning kind of carries and its overall does good enough damage for you to solo the game. Because I got a Myth, which spent like a whole month. I got to level 70, which proves that it's not one of the worst. And Life, it may not do as much damage, but you get healing and you can heal everyone instead of just healing yourself like you do with the other classes, which is why I'm not saying it's one of the worst classes in the game. It's probably like in between. And now that leaves us Balance and Ice. Firstly, it's a tough one because Balance, no prisms, and if you face someone that's a Balance class, you're probably screwed. And Ice, it's tanky but doesn't do much damage. For me, Ice is probably the worst out of the two because it's low damage. Yes, the high health is good, but I've played with an Ice and Balance. I've gone further in the game with Balance without dying. I've died like 3 times by the time I got to Crocotopia. And not because I'm bad at the game. I know what I'm doing. I'm a professional. Ice does no damage. And like, if you solo, you might be fine, right? But eventually, the low damage will catch up to you and you'll be screwed. But for Balance, you'll at least be able to blade yourself with like Balance Blade, Spirit Blade, and you'll get stuff that does damage from other classes, like the Hydra head thing, which I'll pop up on screen right now. Which I don't know what the name is. And you get I think AoE damage, the Tornado at level 16, whereas like Ice, you get like level 26, you get the Blizzard. The reason I'm not saying, again, the reason I'm not saying Life, because it's healing. If you solo, you'll be able to get a shit ton of heals like the Saturn, I don't know the name, I'll pop up again on screen. That's very OP, you got to get at a low level, unless I'm remembering it dumb. And Myth, I got to like level 70 something, like Azteca or Avalon, I don't know, like level 70 something. And Life, same, I got around it like just before my Myth, but I think I was on the same planet world thing. Overall, the other class, why it's not the worst, including Balance. I'll say why Ice is the worst again. Death, it heals, and it's just overall very OP. I've gotten it to like Celestial and Celestial. The heals are worth it. You get your Scarecrow relatively, I think relatively around the same level as like Life, and I think Ice, I don't know, the first giant for Ice. And damage over time does a lot of damage, and damage on its own still does more damage than Ice. And the health is much better than the Storm, and yeah. And the reason why Storm's not the worst, minus its low health, low everything, but its damage is the highest in the world. The axe, you may fizzle with 5 seconds, don't worry about it, I know how it feels. It will do a shit ton of damage. I'm pretty sure late game, most of your stuff will have like, you'll have like 50% accuracy, you'll be guaranteed to not fizzle by like mid game like I have. So that's why it's not the worst, it's probably one of the best. I'll give that and Fire and Death. And Balance. Balance isn't the worst because, well, it's debatable. I would debate that Balance and Ice are the 2 worst cards, but I would debate that Balance and Ice are the 2 worst classes in the game to start with. And no one really can change my mind. I can give 3 reasons, 5 reasons why the other classes aren't the worst. I can start with Balance. You can blade yourself to do more damage. You get your blades relatively earlier. You do relatively more damage than Ice. And despite the fact that prisms, it can be OP late game, like when you get the Hydra thing from the trainer in Crocotopia. Fire. Damage over time does a shit ton of damage. It straight up does a lot of damage. And number 3, it's just OP. It doesn't have a high chance to fizzle. It has high health for it has high health for someone who does like a shit ton of damage. It has a high health for someone who does a shit ton of damage, and overall just very OP. You should probably do that for your next character, which I should probably do that. Life, it heals. If you don't have heals, what do you want to do? Get rid of the heals. It's like getting rid of Ice Tower's Ice Class's Tower Shield, and all its shields and health. It's overall does better damage than balance, which it would obviously mean that it's better than balance, which makes it not the worst class in the world. And myth. It summons trolls, minions, whatever. It's very good for early game. Later on, I don't think you end up using it. And like earthquake and all that stuff. It's OP. You can give it like shields, blah blah blah. It's just overall OP. And here's the 3 reasons: summoning, overall high health for its high damage, and overall medium/high health. Damage. And overall medium/high damage. And finally, death. There's one main reason, and if you get rid of this one main reason, it's shit. You're screwed. You're fucked. You're gonna get shit on by literally everything. The healing. The first heals, I think the Rotting Fodder, I don't know what his name is for the spell, like goal, whatever. Without it, it does like no damage. You're screwed. You're crapped. It does overall. I would say low to medium, but more towards the medium side than low. It does more damage than life and balance and ice. I'm thinking it's relatively around the same with myth. And basically, it's not the worst. And now, I will give 3 reasons why ice is the worst. Or maybe I'll go as long as I want. I give 3 to 5 reasons. 1. It has relatively low damage. Yes, it has high health, but that won't help if you're gonna eventually get shot on late game by people who critical hit every 5 seconds, and they do high damage already. Even if it's, or maybe the exception late game is when you face ice, because they don't spam fire shields as they do like in Colossus Boulevard, for example. Number 2, you get all your spells like blades relatively later than other classes. For example, nice, I think you get like level 26 or something. You guys know that ice arena where you go to find the Order of the Fang or something in Crocotopia? You get it around there if you don't do any side quests. But Stormblade, Fireblade, you get it like Wizard City, not Storm, but Fire, you get your blade in Wizard City. But then the trap's late, but you get everything relatively late besides like the ice trap, which is like the first thing that you learn, I'm pretty sure, but it's pretty useless early game because you basically one-shot everything, unless like you include bosses, which is then it's useful. Number 3. This is for cost solo. Ice. It's known for its health and its shields. Are you gonna shield yourself? Unless you're saying for stuff, you gotta blade yourself, you gotta trap them. When would you have time to shield yourself? If you shield yourself, you just wasted time, you just letting the enemy attack you and kill you. Like, what are you doing if you pick ice? I am going through an ice walkthrough right now. I've died so many times. It's not because of the fact that I'm doing a no bizarre challenge only with my gear. Because I got OP gear from that one quest from that one person I forgot the name of. But overall, ice high damage, no. But overall, ice low damage, high health. I would rather high damage low health, like Storm. Because I've experienced how good Storm is. I've rarely fizzled with Storm. I've fizzled more with ice than I have with Storm. I've like died less. I'm like up to Celestial, like I mentioned earlier. I think around there, or Dragon Spire, maybe a bit earlier. I fizzled less with that Storm in like 6 worlds than I have with ice in one single world. I fizzled like 7 times alone in the Unicorn way than I have with my Storm. I fizzled like 3 times in Storm in my entire career that I can remember of. Other than that, it's crap. Anyways, just to recap the video, I'm gonna rank the classes from worst to best. There's Fire, and also just not including the Astral guys, like the Moonstar, the way you get the buffs for like the more damage or like etc. But there's Fire, Ice, Storm, Death, Myth, Life, and Balance. I'm not sure if I'm forgetting anything, but number 7, Ice. It's overall, you have high health, but you have low damage and like you do no damage. Number 6, Balance. The only reason I say Balance is because no prisms and probably the second lowest damage after like Life or something, and Life just makes it up for it with its healing. Number 5. This is a tough one. I would say Life and Myth. I'd slightly edge it to Life, only not because of its low damage, but because it's a bit like Ice. Well, yeah, it's because of its low damage actually, come to think of it. It may have heals that That's the only reason why it's not lower, like around the ice tier. Number 4. Myth. The only reason because of Myth is because if it had a slight health and damage increase, I feel like it's a bit low for Myth because of its summoning. It would probably be above Death. If they are to do that, they'll probably get rid of the summonings and they'll probably change the whole storyline like they did like a million times for when you start the game and you do your enrollment. They changed like 7 times or like 8 times if I remember correctly. Feel free to correct me in the comments. No, which is number 4. Number 3, Death. The only reason I say Death is number 3 is because its health is a bit low, and I get it's because you heal, but well, self-explanatory. It should do, in my opinion, it should do more damage, not more damage. It should have more health and do slightly more damage, and then it would be about Fire in my opinion. And number 2, I can't spoil it, Fire. The only reason it's not above Storm is because its health, it may be higher than Storm, yes, but it's relatively medium low-ish in my opinion. Unless I'm remembering it dumb and just videos of fail. It's just overall very OP. Not as OP as Storm. It's if it didn't do like fire over time, like damage over time. I mean, I guess fire, it's realistic, right? Somewhat realistic. It would have been like, you know, better than Storm. It's just that over time it ruins you, it might kill you eventually, but I've seen people complete the game easily with fire. It's just my opinion, and yeah. If it does slightly more damage or has slightly more health, I'd say it would be better than Storm. And number 1, obviously I spoiled it, it's Storm. It's basically, no, Life was the first I've used, but Storm has always been my favourite because of its high damage. I've basically never fizzled with Storm, even though it's supposed to have the highest chance to fizzle. Its health may be low, but I've rarely died with Storm as well. So I know what I'm doing. I've been playing since like 2013, 2014. Basically when I started primary school, in America you guys call it elementary school. And basically, yeah. We're basically gonna say that Storm is basically the best class in the game for me. No debate. If you guys want debate, just comment down what Wizard or Part 101 video you want to see next. And thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure to like and subscribe.